James brought out Motortier. Domochevsky's latest and greatest insanity. Full auto shell ejecting craziness.
Daddy's home! Motortier! We're all just wandering the halls is what we're doing, Noah. Well, where are they supposed to go? You're attacking them right here. Just here. Yeah, have a nice walk. Have a nice walk.
I think I got you before.
Yeah, you got me pretty good. This is my road motor right away. This is my freaking motor right away. Pop a couple of Amos for me.
How?
You didn't hit me! I know I normally do these one at a time, but like, Domo made all of this hardware. So let's just talk about all of it at one time. They all kind of do the same thing. They're fully automatic, mag dumping madness platforms, but they all have a slightly different gimmick for their do or die full auto styling. Motortier here, it's got the shell ejection, which is cool, and it's also louder than hell, and that's super neat, and I really dig it. Then, we've got Hollander. Hollander ditched the shells, put in the wacky wheel feeder thing, and loads the mag on the perpendicular. It's super cool, and honestly, kind of practical as a mag dumper if you don't want to just go the Meowser route that so many people go now, because let's be real, the Meowser's great. And then you've got the Solektrik-9. The Solektrik-9 is brand new. This is the second one in the world. And this one, so it's kind of like the Hummingbird's weird future punk cousin, because it's got a solenoid driven pusher and it's still fully automatic. So it's going to come down to kind of the flavor you want, right? Chocolate, strawberry, or vanilla. And I'm going to talk about each one, what they do, how they function, and kind of give my suggestions at the end. Alright, so like I said, it's kind of the granddaddy in Domo doing half-dart things, Motortier. It's a shell-ejecting blaster using the fly point system, right? These are just fly point shells. More specifically, these are the injection-molded Kirin shells. He got this to market before Harrison got his unnamed MP5 variant thing to market. And it is pretty cool And because it just puts a strife cage in here, it can run any strife cage with some work. I know people have gotten a band blaster cage in here, which means you can get this thing up to 200 feet per second throwing shells, which is awesome. But I'm going to get into the positives and negatives of this thing. One, it's super heavy. Like, this giant pusher motor back here makes this really cantankerous to use. It does have shell ejection. So if your local club is like, nah, you can't leave shells all over the floor, you're going to have to deal with cleaning up after this thing or carrying some kind of shell catcher on it, which is going to break up these sweet, sweet future punk aesthetics. And all of these have these sweet, sweet future punk aesthetics. We're going to get right back into that. But more importantly than that, positive and negative, this thing is loud. And it pitches these shells far. What you can't see is, unlike normally, I have a kind of shower curtain thing set up over here just to stop these shells from going everywhere. So, it's what some of you have been asking for. Mag dump. See, that's nuts. That's crazy town. Do I love it? Of course I love it. But you're making a giant mess. And if your local won't let you do that, this isn't the platform for you. You might be better off in a Hollander. So Hollander came out second. And I'm just going to be 100% honest. Of the three, is the only one I've had no mechanical issues with of any kind. When I put the adapter in and ran Talons in Motortier, I had all kinds of issues with jams. It wasn't great. My Solektrik-9, I've already managed to produce a jam that almost killed a motor. Hollander, I've had no issues. So this is pretty neat in that it's got this windmill style feeder that goes into a chute down here with rollers that leads to the wheels, which are those Cabanossi wheels that Fetwurst makes for Domo. And both of these use the Fetwurst wheels. Both of them are on low keys. They have a little different performance. They're both around 110, but this one averages a little lower. And I think it's because of the wacky feeder mech. But the big thing for me about this is aesthetically very pleasing to me. One, it kind of looks like a bolter from 40K. And that does it for me. And two, if I want to mag dump, I want to mag dump. And Hollander, empty. It's super quick, it's fairly accurate, and that spinning wheel, it's very, very good. It's very, very cool. And this is probably the best value out of the three. So, if you could only buy one thing from Domo, this is probably the one to buy. But we can't really talk about this one without talking about its little brother. So the Solektrik-9 is kind of the bouncing baby boy of Domo's half-dart blasters. And for my money, is actually probably the coolest thing he's ever built. And you got to keep in mind, I've got everything. The thing about this is it keeps all of the aesthetics that Domo is known for, but is the most purely functional of the gang. You're not dealing with the weird giant mag that you have to deal with Hammerwald. You're not dealing with the shells, which may or may not be permitted in your local, that you have with Motortier. You're not dealing with the rate of fire of Hollander, though this is pretty close. And you have a mechanical automatic solenoid system in the Solektrik-9. And you can... Sometimes that system won't reset properly. You got to pull on that. Right? But you can just squeeze off a couple. I am having dart feeding issues with soft darts and humidity. Right? You have the ability to actually fire little bursts with this, which you don't really have with Hollander. And you can get away with Motortier. but it's not great at it. It fills that like submachine gun kind of Uzi size category. It feels really good in the hand, but I have giant hands. I handed this to one of the guys at my local at our last indoor war. His complaint was, this grip is huge. And I can't deny that. But huge with the cookie crushers is fine. It lights up, it's aesthetically pleasing, and again, right, you can mag dump if you want. So like I said, the aesthetics across these three, they're all in the same future, post-apocalyptic, sci-fi style that he uses for everything. For my money, like I said, Solektrik-9 probably looks the best with this big slab front end, these coils on the side, the lights across the top that you could do in any transparent color, and that solenoid sticking out the back in this. It's really got a great, like, mechanical feel. Hollander's a close second because, again, loading on the side. And Motortier is cool because it sends those shells arcing. And if you look at some of my other videos, they arc far, like inappropriately far, which is viscerally satisfying. But this kind of brings us to the end and my opinion on the line here. If you're going to get into one of Domo's blasters, because I know they're not cheap to buy and they're difficult to build because they're a little finicky, as much as I love Solektrik-9, and this is my favorite of anything he's ever built, including Hammervold, which I love deeply, this wouldn't be the one I would buy. Yeah, it's a little more practical because you can fire off a burst easier and it looks real cool and it's my preference in all those ways. But this, it's better. It's lighter for one thing, which is nice. It's got either a foregrip with this little fake magazine that the battery lives in, or you can hold it, you know, this way. It's got an end strike attachment point for a stock and for a barrel lug. And it feels like a little SMG. Like, it feels really good in the hand. And comparatively speaking, it's kind of cheap. It's only a couple $100, which for Domo is like a nickel. So if I had to give an opinion to buy or not to buy, absolutely buy things from Domo. It's one of the most pleasurable experiences I've ever had buying something from any designer. He keeps you constantly involved. He sends you updates with photos as he's building things and shows you the progress. Once he gets it assembled, he tells you how his range testing went. Like, he's really fun to work with. But this is the most affordable option and honestly is kind of the best for normal nerfy goodness. Now, you're not going to get massive performance out of it. It's only going to get 110, 115. But you could run HVZ at 110, 115. You could run your local at 110, 115. Because the fact of the matter is, you run this as a primary and some kind of high-grade Springer pistol to handle those kind of sniper shots. Buy things from Domo, and if you're on the fence about which one, here's your moneymaker. The Hollander. It's pretty cool.